Hello everyone, and welcome to ASMR Q&A, because I am still recovering from a cold and my voice is still healing. That's why I have headphones on, so that I can hear myself and make sure that I am not peeking this little guy, because I have the sensitivity turned up to ensure that I remember to talk softly throughout this entire video. By the time you see this, I might be well. I might also be making other content alongside this. Who knows? But as of recording this, past me, right now, is still recovering. And so therefore, you get this lovely ASMR soft-spoken Q&A. Enjoy. I put out a post today, as of recording this, on Twitter and YouTube to ask you guys for your questions. I will be reading from both Twitter and my YouTube community tab, and I will be answering some of these questions. First question is from a friend of mine, Madwolf. What has been the best moment in your career so far? Publishing the Evil Lives On album is probably one of the most accomplished of my musical career. Publishing Vanessa Into Madness is one of my most accomplished film type things in my film type career. Not that that one's more so a career as much as it's just something I do for fun. Cryfuse asks, what happened to your voice? I got sick. Also, how are you? And are you excited for our upcoming collab? I'm thriving. I could be doing better. If I wasn't sick, I'd probably be a lot better. But other than that, if I ignore the fact that I'm recovering from a cold, I'm doing splendidly. And yes, I'm very excited for the collab. If you guys don't know what he's talking about Afton's Empire, a new song that is coming out on his channel, and I vocal feature on it. So feel free to check it out. A user named Glitchtrap without the T says, I know you said this, but my memory is crud. But what app do you use for your music? I use Ableton Live Suite 10. And before that, I used a free program called LMMS. A user named Indy at the Two Trainser asks, how do you come up with the songs that you make? With this big voluptuous brain. That's how. A user named Jane and Quinn asks, afternoon, where I am, Night Cove. I would like to ask, how does it feel to cosplay? And can it sometimes be a bit of a struggle to get makeup right? Have a lovely day. Yes, it can be a struggle to get makeup right for certain characters. For a character like Glitchtrap that I do so often, it's kind of like muscle memory now, so I can get it done in like 20 minutes, which is kind of nice. But other characters, or just doing regular makeup, is shockingly hard for me. For some reason. But cosplaying in general, I think, is very fun. It's a nice, healthy form of escapism to just not live in reality for a moment, to become somebody else temporarily. Even if you're not in character, just dressing up is fun, you know? Feed the inner child. A user named Jubilee asks, oh, there's 3 questions. First one is, what is my favorite FNAF character other than Weaselman? Bold of you to assume he is my favorite. But yes, he is. He's up there. I think I've always said that like the Circus Baby variants were my original favorite, and then before that, it was Foxy. Springtrap was hovering around in there for a while. Roxanne is my favorite glam rock, I think. But Bonnie is kind of climbing the chain. Glam rock Bonnie, because now that I know what his design is like, I actually really like it. It's grown on me. I like his color palette, but I think Roxy is still slightly above him. Number 2, I've been wondering this one for a long time. What are your pronouns? Any. I mainly go by she, her, just simply because that's how I grew up, and that's how I'm perceived most of the time, but I will not be offended by they, them, or he, him. I cosplay all genders. In fact, I mostly cosplay masculine, so I will not be offended. You cannot misgender me. Number 3, how are you? I could be better. My throat could be better. I've been antsy. Okay, I'll let you in on a little secret. I've been remaking some very, and I mean very old songs. Songs that 90% of you probably don't even know. And I've been so very eager to sing them so much better. I'm very eager to get back to work. Let's just say that. I could be better. If my throat were not the way it was right now, I would be a lot better. Cassidy the Darling also has a few questions. How do you get video ideas and/or music ideas? Big voluptuous brain. I don't know, they just kind of pop into my head, or sometimes they'll be suggested to me by my family. Like my mom and I will come up with silly ideas sometimes. She'd be like, what if Glitchtrap did this? And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, and then I'll do it. Can you tell us more about Timmy? He's doing well. Rambunctious, little attitude-filled fluff ball. Fun fact about him that some of you may not know, because I think I only briefly mention it, but he did go deaf. When I first adopted him at 7 months old, he definitely had his hearing because I had him trained. He would come when I whistled, and he would like stop if I snapped, because snapping meant no, or just the word no, but he responded more to sound, and he was really well trained. And then suddenly over time that kind of went away, and I thought, oh, maybe he's just getting into his like rambunctious teenage age, and he's like, screw you, mom, I'll do whatever I want. But no, because then he also started getting a lot more startled. When I would enter the room, like I would make a lot of noise coming into the room, so I'd think, oh, he knows I'm here, and then he would, you know, finally spot me and go into fight or flight mode and just like, you know, freak out and do panic donuts. One of the times when I took him into the vet, I was like, hey, he's kind of starting to react to things as if he cannot hear. And so they ran a couple of tests on him. One of them being just like getting a tuning fork and like striking it on something so that it makes that ringing sound, and then holding it around his head in his blind spot to see if he would react, and nothing. So we basically determined, me and the vet, that he is deaf. So he is a little deaf boy. I love him dearly, but he is also very dumb. He is scared of everything, and yet also not. It's very weird. He's too curious for his own good, but he's also a scaredy cat of everything and everything. But I love him. I love him so much. He's such a good boy, such a cuddle bug. He'll let me cuddle up to him, kiss his face, he'll fall asleep. He's like a dog. He'll start drooling if you pet him long enough. He'll start dozing off and he'll just this drool puddle beneath his mouth. It's disgusting, but adorable. I could talk about him this entire video, but I'll leave it at that. He is perfect in every way, and I love him. Are you a dog or a cat person? If I had to choose between the two, I would choose cat, just also because I'm allergic to dogs, but I still love them. I love Goose. My sister Ozza has a big dog named Goose. He's a Husky Carolina mix, and he's the best boy. I love him very much. But I also have a very fat, grumpy cat here with me now named Tempest. She's the cat who starred as Tux in Vanessa Into Madness, and she lives here with me now. Because she's much happier as an only cat. She's fine around other cats. She just kind of gets depressed because the cats she was living with specifically liked to pick on her. But here she's an entirely different cat, and her and Timmy get along perfectly, so she's very happy. Would you ever consider collaborating with a big FNAF YouTuber like Dawko, FNAF, or Game Theory? That would be really fun. I don't know what that would be exactly because I'm not a theorist. I'm not like super into the gaming part of the community. But if there were ever a live stream or something and I was like invited on to help out in some way, I don't know, or like a song, like I don't know if, I know FNAF said that like he was going to dabble in music and animation. I know Dawko does singing, and I have talked with him briefly before about that sort of a thing, but we never really got anywhere. But maybe I can touch bases with him again and just see for fun if he's up to doing a little fun project together or something. Okay, so that was all the questions from Cassidy the Darling. Tiffany Del Rose asks, have you ever thought about doing a song about Funtime Foxy? I know that there are 2 songs about him, but I don't feel like they fit the character well enough. Fun fact. So, back on the topic of me remaking or remaster, more so just remaking, because let's face it, I'm starting from scratch. Those things were beyond saving. Really old songs that 90% of you probably don't know exist, case in point. I had a song called Cat and Mouse in 2017. It was bad. So I'm remaking it, but it was a Funtime Foxy song, technically. And I'm remaking it. Don't know when it'll be done, don't know when it'll come out, blah, 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 but it is being remade. So, yes, I have considered making a song about Funtime Foxy, and technically I did. But I'm just doing it again now, but better, so that we can forget that the other one ever existed. Eon, ooh, that's a cool name. Tion the Caster. That's a cool name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the first part of it right. Will we get to see a showing of your FNAF collection? If you'd be interested, I can show you. It's not that impressive. It's not as big as it used to be because I actually gave away some of my plushies before I moved to a couple of friends for like birthday gifts because I had like duplicates and stuff. But sure, if you guys would be interested in seeing all of the FNAF merchandise that I have, that's out right now anyway. Some of it is still packed, but the stuff that I have out, if you would like to see it, let me know in the comments and I could do show and tell. Have you thought about converting some part of your house like the FNAF office, like you have done in the past videos years before? Actually, yes. when I first looked at this house and noticed how the living room looked and how open it was and how wide it was, my first instinct was to convert it to the FNAF VR lobby style of the FNAF 1 dining area. Probably with fewer party tables because I want it to also be a functional living room. So it's more so just gonna be an aesthetic thing. But I do plan on building an actual mini stage that's round, kind of like a Pirate Cove stage, putting the entertainment center on the stage with the TV, putting curtains around it. I'm gonna rip up the carpet, do black and white tile, paint the walls, do the decals with the checkers and the red strips, put up little drawings, everything. But it's just a matter of me saving up the money and sourcing all the materials and then, you know, planning out where things are gonna go and what kind of furniture I want. But yes, that is something that I had in mind before even buying this house. It was one of the first things I thought of. I was like, oh my God, you know what I could do with the living room? And then I got the house. I was trying not to get too in love with the idea before I knew that the house was mine. But now that I'm living in it, I can actually, you know, start being serious about it, which is cool. How would you feel if you were one of the lucky few to have been invited to the movie set? I probably would have passed away when I got the email. Just probably wouldn't have even made it to Louisiana. I did. But no, if I were calm enough that I didn't die on the spot and I got to make it there, gosh, because what, they got to like see them, hug them, talk to the actors, learn the choreography, see the props, like they got to see a whole lot of stuff. And that is just, that's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm so happy for them. A little jealous, but like a healthy amount of jealous. Not like, oh my God, it should have been me. But like, damn, that's cool. Like, good for you, man. That's so cool. That's an experience that like so many FNAF fans would die for. Me being one of them. Just kidding. I made the joke once. I don't know if I kept it in the video or not. It was one of my FNAF movie related videos where I talked about how cool it would be if someday FNAF became real. Like they opened up, because I know like at Universal Studios they had the little like walkthrough Blumhouse project where you could see the characters standing static in person, like they were just there on mannequins. Not mannequins, but you know, basically, I mean, they were just standing there lifeless. They weren't animated or anything. It would be really cool if, and I know it would be a hot mess to try and pull off because of just how big FNAF is. I mean, even the movie alone has been Blumhouse's highest grossing movie in the entire history of the earth now, apparently, which is just asinine. Like, us FNAF fans are insane. And I mean that in the best way, but holy crap. So this would probably be entirely unmanageable. But to have an actual Freddy Fazbear's for like a week-long event or a weekend, kind of like a convention or something, even if it wasn't a permanent location that actually sold pizza and stuff, because it's a lot of legalities and potential things that could go wrong there. But I think it would be cool if there was like a Five Nights at Freddy's convention, because there's cosplay conventions and like events that have FNAF elements in them. But I think it would be cool to have just a Freddy Fazbear's open up for one weekend and have it be just like a meet and greet event for everyone who could go anyways. Like, I'm sure there'd probably be a capacity cap off or something to keep it safe and manageable. But be able to see the characters perform and maybe eat a slice of pizza, shake Scott's hand, you know? I don't know, that just seems like it would be a really cool experience and something that maybe could be pulled off. I'm sure this is one of those things that Scott has probably thought about, but then immediately was like, that would be a lot to handle because of how big FNAF is, you know, how many people there are that would want to be there. One weekend just wouldn't be enough, you know. Anyways, moving on. All right, so those were some questions from Twitter. Now I am moving over to my YouTube community tab. First question that I am reading is from First question is from Vincent Hamilton 7967. My question, questions. There are several. Have you done any film classes or schools because your filming techniques are so cool? I have not. Everything I know and do is simply from watching shows and movies or other fan-made film projects to get inspiration, or just things that kind of spawn in my head, like camera angles. Like, I'll look at the structure of a building on the inside or a hallway, wherever we're going to film, and I'll take account of like, we have a hallway here, we have a wall right here, we have a glass panel here that we could shoot through. Like, I try to calculate that sort of thing because it's just I don't know, I guess my brain just really likes angles and macro zooms. I really like cinematic angles. When I was filming Vanessa Into Madness, I had so many epiphanies and so many breakthroughs of like how to film things. And it was very much a hands-on learning experience for me. So it's really just doing it that has made me kind of get sort of decent. I wouldn't even say I'm good. Like looking back at even Vanessa Into Madness, there are so many flaws, especially with the audio, which that was supposed to be better, but the shotgun Rode mics. Shotgun mics are these things that are like little crane necks. They're these long mics that it's like a boom mic. That's what they're called. But the shotgun is just the model of the microphone part. It basically just means it's long. I don't know why they call it shotgun. It's kind of aggressive, but it's a boom mic. I got one of those and it was supposed to be great, and then it broke and I didn't have the funds to, and I mean break as in I didn't break it, it just like arrived broken. It worked for one recording and then it just started making static feedback and I couldn't get a return. So then we had to record with the built-in mics to all of our Canon EOS cameras, which still was not bad. Like it was less bad than I thought it would be, but I did put in the effort to try and do research and get the best mic for the best audio. Excuse me. And it just wasn't meant to be. So other than that gripe, even just visual wise, there's a lot of things that I would do differently. But that's the fun part. That's how learning goes, especially hands-on learning when you're not taking classes. A lot of it is trial and error. Have you ever thought of doing charity streams like Daco? Yes, I really want to. I used to do casual live streams when I was way back in like the beginning era of my channel. I used to just sit down and start live streaming. I know very little about streaming. I'm not a streamer. I don't know how to set them up properly. I'm not good at setting up like Tiltify and all that to accept donations. But if I learn how, I really do want to start doing charity streams because I think that that would be a very good way to use my platform to, you know, be helpful. More helpful than just be an entertainer, you know? And have you ever thought of making non-video game based nerdcore music? I used to, yeah. In fact, I had some songs that were based off of shows I watched. I did a Stranger Things song, actually, that I just never released, and it's mostly because I know it won't perform well. And with YouTube, it's a tricky business because in order to keep up my algorithm, I have to continue making the content that I know people will watch a lot of, especially when it comes to music. I do make those sorts of things, but I don't post them very often because I know it'll kind of more so just cause a speed bump in my algorithm. And as much as I'd love to just be like, oh, I can post whatever I want because I love to, which I do. But when it comes to that sort of thing where it's such a niche thing, it kind of just has to be one of those magical one-hit wonders that goes viral. Otherwise, it's just gonna flop. And it's gonna slow down my algorithm and it's gonna be even harder to climb back up out of that ditch. And unfortunately, that's just the reality of how YouTube algorithms work. I wish I could make more niche content like that, but I have made songs in my spare time. A lot of the time, even just originals that have nothing to do with video games or anything nerdy, it's just original. And I just haven't released them because I know YouTube won't appreciate it. I mean, I know you guys would, but it's the algorithm and the fact that it doesn't push it if it's not FNAF, because that is what my channel is about. So once you like pick something, you kind of are stuck with it because otherwise if you try to deviate, YouTube's like, see, no one's gonna watch it now. They only know you for one thing, so you might as well just stick with that thing or die. Not to be like blunt about it, but sometimes that's what it feels like the YouTube algorithm does to you. All right, we have a few questions from Amber Goodshine. When did you decide you wanted to do YouTube? I think I've told the origin story a few times in like fan mail. Way back in like 2017, I wanted to be in a very small local convention panel about Five Nights at Freddy's, and I had to do these little like character auditions. And the only way to get them to the host of the panel for review was by posting them publicly on YouTube, because that's what they asked for us to do. So I was like, sure, why not? I posted my auditions publicly on my channel, and then suddenly they started getting views and comments. I kind of just took that and ran with it, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, maybe this whole YouTube thing is possible for me. Maybe I could try it, you know, do it for fun. And never in a million years at, you know, however old I was, 12, 13, I don't know, did I think that it would become a career for me, because I grew up watching people like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye. Later on it was like Daco, 8-Bit Ryan, and I was like, man, these guys have made careers out of that. That's really cool. And then I started watching other cosplayers and stuff, and I was like, man, see, it is possible. Maybe I can try. And I also listened to a bunch of nerdcore music. That was the biggest thing. I decided to kind of give it all a try, mostly for fun. And then yeah, you know, almost 7 years later, here I am. What's your favorite type of video to record? It really varies depending on what mood I'm in. I love doing adventures with Glitch Trap. It gets exhausting after a while. I have to be in the right headspace for it. To act like a sassy, aloof, angry, bitter British weasel dad for, you know, hours at a time, because some videos take hours to make. What you may see as only a 40-minute video may have taken 2 hours to record, with at least an hour of failed bits or just me figuring out what to do chopped out. Because nobody's perfect. In character, not in character. A lot of it relies heavily on the editing and the comedic timing, the music, everything. There's a science to it. And so for that reason, it can get kind of exhausting. So sometimes I won't look forward to it, but that's only when I'm already kind of exhausted, just whether it be from personal things in my life or just the fact that I'm burnt out. It's one of those things that I either really enjoy or kind of see as a chore. But nonetheless, once I'm like in it and I'm doing it and it's done and I'm editing it, then it's like, I feel better. It's worth it, you know? It's never like a, oh God, I don't want to do this anymore. I hate this series. Like, that's not true. I love the series. Truly. I don't know what I would do without it. It's one of my favorite things ever. But it is also honest to admit that sometimes I'm not in the mood, or sometimes I'm just tired and I prefer to do content like this. Sometimes this kind of content is my favorite to record. And sometimes when I'm in the right mood, the Glitch Trap content is my favorite kind to record. Or sometimes my favorite content to make is the stuff behind the scenes where I'm not even on camera and I'm just letting loose and making some cool music. So it really just varies. What's your favorite character to play? I guess Glitch Trap. That's why he's on here so often. I know I don't play him in a very canonical way. I don't just stand in a corner and wave and speak in an ominous, deep voice. He's a very comedical character, almost like an alter ego at this point. But I like getting into that character. It's really fun. And I know a lot of you enjoy him as well. So he's become kind of a staple, an iconic figure on this channel, which is great. I like portraying other characters too, but I think that he's probably my main go-to because he's silly and grumpy and sassy. And he's everything I aspire to be. Have you ever had a moment where you wanted to stop doing the Glitch Trap series? I guess I kind of answered that already. Like, no, I've never wanted to end it. Okay, like, I don't want to end it. I think it's fun. Sometimes it's hard to come up with ideas of what adventures I can do next, which is why I reach out to you guys a lot for new ideas. But I never have just wanted to stop it. Like, I'm not that tired of it. Like I said, sometimes I get tired and burnt out and I just don't feel like making the video because it takes a lot of acting sometimes, or a lot of, you have to be in the right mindset and silly mood and confident mood to be able to do improv comedy like that. So sometimes if I'm already kind of tired or burnt out, or I'm going through something and I'm not feeling very funny, it's hard to force that improv comedy on the spot, because nothing I do in my Glitch Trap videos is scripted. Even way back in the days of the food challenges with my friends, none of that was scripted, except for maybe that beginning skit where me and Randomness316 are like, what do we do with the body? Like that we kind of planned ahead, right? But literally everything else we've ever done, whether it be me solo or me with them back in the day, was all improv, on the spot. Which is kind of what made it the most funny, because sometimes scripted humor isn't as funny as just what happens, you know? When you just completely get into character and you just react to situations as that character would in your little world here, and it just, you know, but that also sometimes takes more effort to just come up with things on the fly and be naturally funny and be naturally engaging. So for that reason, you know, the Glitch Trap videos can take more effort to make, but that's not to say that I don't love them. You know, I do. I love doing them. I just have to be in the right mood. And don't worry, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He always comes back. Okay, that was kind of creepy. When I said that, my entire phone froze and the screen, I shit you not, flashed purple for a moment, which has never happened. So if that's any consolation, he's here with us. He said, damn right. Okay, Freaky Studios 982 asks, when did you join the FNAF community and what drew you to it? I joined way back in 2014 when Markiplier first played it. He was how I was introduced to it because I was already watching his channel. I started watching him because I was watching any YouTubers who had played the Slender Shadow Maps games, and he was one of the only ones that had. So I was watching him already. And then he played FNAF, and I had to kind of get brave enough to watch him play FNAF because I wasn't a fan of like loud sounds, which is funny because you're like, you were watching him play Slender. Yeah, I know. But there was something about the FNAF scream specifically that like, it hit different, reached a different part of the fear part of my brain. So, and I was like 11, but I did. I watched him play it and it was the best decision I ever made, because now look at me. So I guess Mark would be the easy answer of like what drew me to the fandom, because he was quite literally how I was introduced to it, because I watched him play it. But also just the people I met along the way. I made so many of, if not almost all of the friends that I have now through the FNAF fandom. So that's kind of what drew me further in. And the cosplay, the music, there's so much that drew me in. But the initial thing that introduced me was Markiplier playing it. If you could only remake one of your old songs, which would it be? Oh, one of them? I'm remaking all of them, so I feel like I would pick a really, really old one that a lot of people don't know, which I probably have already remade now. End Me or My Last Story would be two good ones that I'd really like to remake, which I am remaking technically. That's two. The InfoDude 9053 asks, will you do a behind the scenes of your music production? I do, actually, and it is available for my members. So if you are interested in that sort of a thing, you can subscribe and become a member for the low price of, I don't remember, I think it's like $3. Anyways, so if you are interested in that sort of thing, feel free to subscribe and become a member, and then you will have access to not only music behind the scenes, but also bloopers and many, many other behind-the-scenes content and speed paints and other things that the rest of you don't typically get to see. Jamie Lagello? Jamel? I think it's Jamie Lagello 7403 asks, do you plan making another album? Yes. I mean, don't take this as like the official announcement. It's more so an idea that's on the back burner, but I want to try and make another fully animated mini album for Ruin on the year mark anniversary. Another idea for an album, another mini album I'd like to do is remastering old songs and re-releasing them in a mini album so that they're all in one spot. Bolton Freddy 2705 asks, will you be at Phoenix Fan Fusion 2024? Yes, I will be, and hopefully with any luck, fingers crossed, I will be hosting another FNAF panel and maybe trying to get a booth. I don't know about that one. But if nothing else, I will at least be attending as a guest, or not a guest, as a attendee, that's the word. I will be going for fun at least, if not hopefully as a panelist again. Are you working on any cosplays currently? I'm about to be. I am going to reacquire my 3D printer from lending it to my sister, and then I am going to start the very probably long and painstaking process of building Genie Man. Giga Chad Genie Man, because I said it and I meant it. I am going to some way, somehow cosplay this creature. We'll see how it goes. I've never 3D printed large-scale things in my life. Probably quite the project to try and take on, considering I have less than a year to get it done. But we're gonna try, because I really want to cosplay him. I want to bring him to life. I want to scare people. So that is probably the biggest thing I'll be working on. I am also still in the background working on a human glam rock Bonnie cosplay as well that I will hopefully be bringing to Phoenix Fan Fusion 24. Candy Cables 99 asks, I heard you had some history in dance. Did you do any performances? Yes, I was a dancer with my high school dance company, and before that I started dancing in classes in middle school. I was only ever trained through the classes that were available for free through my schools, which thankfully I ended up going to a middle school and a high school that had pretty decent dance programs available, and so I did all of my training there, which wasn't extensive, so I wasn't the best dancer. I was no dance mom's like child prodigy level. I wasn't even a studio kid. My flexibility was bad because I have really bad hips and have always had bad hips, so my teachers would always yell at me about my ballet turnout, but I still enjoyed it. I really liked doing modern and contemporary. I mean, jazz was fun too, but we always did so much jazz and so much hip hop. I really liked modern and contemporary, with some elements of like hip hop in there sometimes, or jazz. I don't know. I like to combine things. I was very weird. The thing I was known for in my classes was my weird, creepy, always bizarre choreography, except for the occasional times I would do a normal jazz piece or a normal lyrical piece. Other than that, I was always like the weird modern choreographer, and I would always audition the strangest pieces into our high school concerts. And most of the time they'd make them in. So, but yeah, I miss dancing. I miss teaching and choreographing. If you guys remember seeing some bits of like the skit contests I did with my cosplay friends at Sabotin, I choreographed those. Those ones aren't like dancey. They're, you know, a little simplified because I didn't want to do anything too crazy because I knew the stage was tiny. I knew that we would have like a mini set to be moving around. But yeah, I do miss dancing. And I did do performances and dance concerts, just not anything fancy like the Nutcracker. Like I wasn't a professional ballerina or anything, but I could do some sick alisacones and fouettes. Self-taught, baby. Let's go. Oh, there's also a follow-up question that's, what's your favorite Melanie Martinez Portal song? That's hard to pick. I really like Evil and I like Back from the Dead, but I also like all of them. So FNAF Fan 1983 asks, do you think that mint chocolate ice cream is good? Right now with a sore throat, it sounds bussin'. Usually I don't like crunchy things, including chocolate, in my soft ice cream. It's a texture ick for me. But like mint chocolate chip is strangely enough one of those exceptions. Cloud Kitten 238 asks, how tall are you? Because you seem tall. I'm 5'9", so not super tall. I'm like in between kind of tall and kind of average, which is kind of just, it sucks. Like my sister is 2 inches taller than me, and I'm always like, just give me an inch and then we'll be even and it'll make sense. But no, I have to be 2 inches shorter and it sucks. That's why I wear platform boots everywhere I go. Never let them know your next move. Number 2, do you like Undertale? If so, who's your favorite character? I had a very heavy Undertale phase when I was younger, and my favorites were always like Asriel, which I did a cosplay of, and I think I did a Kara cosplay, or Kara. Sans is cool too, and Papyrus. My bros, they're cool too. Number 3, do you like the new FNAF song The Living Tombstone made? Stuck Inside? Yes, it's stuck inside my head, which is just, and it sucks because I haven't learned all the lyrics yet, so it's just the melody and I love it though, it's great. User CO3MF8GO1K says, hi, my question is, if you were to get a job other than YouTube, what would it be? Probably filmmaking. I would probably go to filmmaking school. It's Freddy Fazbear's sus. All right, we have a question from a member, Kennedy. Have you ever had a crush in high school before? Not really. I have never really felt that way about people upon like first glance. Like, you know how people are attracted to other people because of the way they look and they're like, oh my God, I have a crush. Like my brain has never worked like that, which was kind of a part of my journey of discovering that I'm probably like demi or ace, whatever that label would be. Again, I'm not very educated on the whole label thing. I'm only wary about how I feel and experience life. I don't really get those feelings for a person unless I've known them and been close to them and have established that level of trust over like several years. So no, I guess technically, like, have I found people attractive? Sure, yeah. But was I attracted to them and had a crush? No. All right, so I think that'll do it for this Q&A with this lovely ASMR experience. It's probably gonna be a little lengthy because I ended up answering more questions than I thought I would. Maybe you'll enjoy this. Sit back, relax, grab some snacks, enjoy the nice cozy atmosphere as I very raspily answer these questions for your enjoyment. But either way, I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, feel free to like this video. Maybe spread some positivity down in the comments because we all know the world needs a little more of that right now. And as always, remember, stay bright because you're a star. I appreciate every single one of you. And don't forget that this month, and only for this month, until January 1st. All of 2023's limited edition merchandise collections are back online at my merch store, nightcovethefox.com. Link is in the description below. There are discounts as well to celebrate, so do not forget to get yourself a little special something something for this holiday season. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.